Yes, Real Madrid win the first Clasico of the season, their first win in the last five Clasicos, and in today's episode, I'll be walking you through how they did it. Welcome back to another episode of Ball Like You podcast. I'm Tolu, an excited Real Madrid fan. This is fresh after we beat Barcelona 2-1 in the Bernabeu. Per every Clasico was an electric game with a lot of drama and a lot of big decisions, overturned penalties, a red card, a scuffle at the end of the game. He had it all. He had it all. But really quick, we can just dive into the setup of each teams and how Real Madrid improved on last season facing Barcelona. Barcelona set up in their typical 4-3-3 with Ferran Torres up top, Pedri and Fermin Lopez in the double eights, but Fermin Lopez was more of a 10 than Pedri. Usually, Pedri wants to stay deeper, closer to the ball so that he can dictate for them. Him and Frankie de Jong in the midfield. Yamal on the left, on the right, excuse me. Rashford on the left. Rashford had a decent game. Kunde, Balde, Eric Garcia, and Kubarsi, and Szczesny, who was probably Barcelona's best player on the day. And Real Madrid played again. I mentioned the last time we lost to Atletico how frustrating it was for me to see Xabi Alonso do something different than what has been successful. He went back to pretty much what has been successful, which is obviously the back four with Alex Carreras, Dean Harrison, Militao, who was very good. Valverde deputized at right back for us, Kota and go, of course. Then a midfield of Trameni and Jude. Arda was playing kind of a left CM left midfield role. Obviously was floating, but primarily on the ball when we were attacking. He was looking to receive the ball here most of the time. So his starting position is here, I should say. And Kamavinga was doing the same role, but on the opposite side of Arda, which is interesting to have two left-footed midfielders in this setup. It was interesting, and it worked. Mbappe up top with Vini playing as a left forward. We know Barcelona what they like to do, right? High line every time. They build up with a back three, with Kunde on the right, Kubasi and Eric Garcia, like so. Then they're looking for Pedri and Frankie De Jong to come receive the ball and set the motion in play. Ferran Torres stays pretty high, then drops when there's a time to. I think the thing that Barca did well is because of their setup, and obviously Vini did a lot of defensive work today, more than usual, but because of that extra man that Real Madrid have up top most of the times, they're looking for overloads here. And the key person for Barcelona was Fermin Lopez because he was just finding all these little pockets to create, overloads here. And Alex Carrera was, bursting forward in a couple times where Yamal will be one-on-one with Hoyson instead of him, which shifts the whole defense back. But for the most part, Barcelona's game plan is to isolate Yami 1v1 or create that option in case every time there's a double coming from anybody, he has two options at all times, which makes him more dangerous because obviously he can beat you 1v1 and he can release the ball and receive it at the other end every time he's being double teamed. But Yamal obviously didn't have a good game today, but it wasn't it was a good idea. I think that what Real Madrid did, where they were more aggressive. Jude, especially, I'll use the number 6 as Jude, and this is Tchouameni. Jude, especially going into doing what he does from box to box, winning tackles, going into tackles. Arda trying to facilitate, knock the ball around, trying to find Mbappe in space or Vini in space. Vini was very, very good 1v1. Very good 1v1 against Yamal, personally, I think the penalty that was overturned in the first couple minutes, I get how that is overturned, but if the ref gave it, I'm surprised I was I'm surprised that it was overturned. Is what I'm trying to say, because if Yamal had touched the ball, fair play. He got the ball first, and when he landed his foot or planted his foot, Vini kicked through. But if he doesn't touch the ball, in my opinion, it becomes obstruction because Vini's about to shoot. He tries to go for a challenge, misses it, stands there, like plants his foot. Vini uh, kicks his foot instead of the ball. I think, personally, maybe I'm just biased. You guys let me know. I think it was a penalty, but not too mad about them overturning it. The one that was unfortunate was when Arda won the ball off of, I want to say it was Pedri in this position, and played Mbappe up one time, and he scored a beautiful goal that was disallowed by his side foot being offside. That was a little disappointing, like technically it's the right decision, but obviously as a fan of the sport or the fan of Real Madrid in this case, it's just like, come on, that's ridiculous. Second time this has happened to Mbappe this season where either his hair is too long and he catches him offside. And in this case, it's his side, like this, literally the side of his foot separates him from scoring one of the great goals in Clasico history. But Real Madrid played well for the most part. They dropped their level a bit in the second half. Barcelona became more dominant on the ball in the second half. Yamal is, dropping into space. He's trying to receive the ball, get involved because, obviously he had a lot to say before the game, so he was trying to prove himself. And when they made some substitutions, he became like a permanent 10. Somebody else was playing his right wing role so that he can get the ball. And there was one occasion where he found Koundé deep when Vini was subbed off and it was Rodrigo tracking Koundé, and Rodrigo let him go, and Yamal was able to find him. And Koundé probably, in hindsight, probably should have used his head versus trying to chest it down. But other than that, Yamal had two shots that went out wide. Didn't really do much. But obviously, still a good player. It's just a bad day for him today. But the game was good. I think happy for Jude. I thought Jude was my man of the match. I think ESPN gave Mbappe or whatever feed ESPN was getting their live broadcast from. Excuse me. They said it was Mbappe, but to me, Jude was everywhere. He was in what you get in a typical Jude game: a goal, fantastic assist, work rate, winning tackles, winning the ball, keeping the ball, just doing what he does best. And I know there's a lot of talk around Jude versus Pedri. This is another game where Jude kind of showed his level, even though Pedri is an amazing player and unluckily got sent. I mean, rightfully so, but for two challenges, I feel like the first one he had to make because Vinny was off to the races and he took one for the team. Second one, he overran the ball, tried to win it back, clattered into Chouameni. This one of those red cards, just is what it is. But it was a good game. It was a great game. I think that Clasico is back. It's just what you expect from a Clasico. It didn't disappoint. Uh, Looking into Rashford's first Clasico, thought he did pretty well. I thought he got his assist. Didn't do too much, but didn't do too much wrong either. So good for him to experience that kind of game. And of course, the drama side of the game, with Vinny's reaction to the sub. Obviously, you don't want to see that reaction. As a teammate or as a coach, maybe even as a fan, you don't want to see that reaction. And we already know, like, Vinny's an emotional guy. I thought he was a little bit, it was a little bit unfair to sub him off because apart from Jude, he was our second best player. And he was feeling it. Like you could tell even the first half he was feeling it. It does put Xabi Alonso in a tough spot when a player reacts like that. Maybe affects Rodrigo as well coming into the game. Like, come on, bro, I'm coming into the game for you. You're wilding out. So I definitely do see both sides. I see Vinny's sides where like, why is he the first of the big boys to get off when he and along with Jude were having probably a better game than Mbappe, I'll say, but Mbappe just carries that threat. So I kind of see all sides. Didn't like seeing him walk down the tunnel, but glad that he came back and was a part of a team again. All that's fine. I know Vinny's just an emotional guy, so I don't really put too much stock in it personally. I know like he's usually the fall guy in the media, and everybody talks about him. When players do similar things to what he does, it's not big news, but that's another topic. But obviously, it shouldn't be a big part of the game. Yeah, he, threw his toys out because he got sobbed off. He walked off, came back, joined the team. End of story. Um, the post-game scuffle with Yamal and Barcelona and Real Madrid players. I think Carvajal said before the game, after all Yamal had to say on whatever podcast show that he was on, was, gesturing the cho towards Yamal, and Yamal was, barking back. And then, Vinny got involved as well. Then Yamal did the head nod, and Vinny was obliging, but then all hell broke loose. All that is fine to me, man. It's not like, it's just part of the game. It's just, emotions are high. Yamal had a lot to say before the game. Real Madrid players responded on the pitch with a win, talking back. It's just fine. It's not a big deal. And, hopefully, I'm sure for Spain, I believe Carvajal is one of the captains, so it'll be interesting to see how the next international camp, if Carvajal gets called up, how all that would go. But I think it's fine. It's just stuff. I'm not too. Yamal talks. He's a kid. He just talks. As a confident kid, he's a fantastic player. He just talks. He backs it up most of the time, so it doesn't really bother me. My thing is when, like, Vinny talks, for example, it's completely different reaction to him. But anyway, long story short, all that stuff was fine to me. It's just part of the game. I don't think there was any bad tackles or anybody trying to hurt anybody. It was just emotions. That's it. But from Real Madrid's perspective, glad, we haven't won a Clasico in the last 5 games. Last 4 games, excuse me. This first one, the 5th one we won. Hopefully it kicks off another run, because the last 8 games before this, Real Madrid won the first 4, then Barcelona won the last 4. And I think before this game, in the history of Clásicos, Real Madrid had just 1 win more. So they've extended that win as well. And I think they had 5 goals less, so it's now 4 goals less. Interesting game every time. Another funny stat is, because this game puts Real Madrid 5 points ahead of the Barcelona in the league, I think in the last 5 years, there hasn't been a back-to-back champ. So if that record continues to hold true, hopefully Real Madrid would go ahead and kick on and not mess up until at least the next big game against either Atleti or Barca. But I'm happy with the win, of course. I thought that we could be a little bit more clinical towards the end, or like midpoint of the second half. The level dropped a bit. Some players got a little lazy. 4 players got a little lazy on staying on side. The second penalty, I thought was a penalty. The penalty that got called, I thought was a penalty. Unlucky for Eric Garcia, but I thought the thing that made him guilty was his hand was slightly raising up. And I think that's why they gave it, obviously. And I think that's the right call, based on the rules. Just add that caveat, based on the rules, because you could just see his hand lift off a little bit. But But yeah, good game. Great game for me. I think for the neutrals, it had everything. It had goals, early drama, late drama, fights, red card, everything you'd want in a match of that stature. And yeah, I would have the rest of my Sunday a great one, a great rest of my Sunday, I should say. Nelson will be back for our regular episode during the midweek on Wednesday, where we'll recap everything else that happened this weekend. But for now, please like, comment, subscribe, share. We really appreciate your support. And for the Real Madrid fans out there, Hala Madrid. And catch you guys on the next one.